Welcome to the mop-up for November 8th, 2022. Happy birthday, Hannah. I'm David Feldman, coming to you from an air shaft overlooking a parking garage somewhere in Manhattan where the temperature is 69 degrees and cloudy. It's election day. Polls close in 12 hours permanently. Maybe. Did you vote? Go vote. It's important to vote. It may be your last time. It may be your last time. You'll be able to tell your kids what it was like to have a semi-functioning democracy. The UN today warned that the world's population is now 8 billion, but hopefully Donald Trump will get another shot at president, and within 3 years, we'll be back down to a manageable 2 billion people. During a parade yesterday honoring the Astros' win over the Phillies, Texas Senator Ted Cruz was hit by a can of beer. Let me just say on behalf of all Americans, Democrat or Republican, we cannot condone the wasting of alcohol. Thoughts and prayers. Ted Cruz, thoughts and prayers. As I said, it's election day here in the United States. We have a lot of work to do. This show is a team sport. It's free of charge. It will remain free of charge forever. There is no bonus content for people who pay. This show is and always will be free. So all I ask of you today is hit the like button and subscribe to this channel. Please hit the like button and subscribe to this channel. And please recommend this show. Share it on social media. You are all I've got. So share this on social media. You know, like Twitter. Elon Musk is the new owner of Twitter, and it is now against Twitter law to impersonate Elon Musk on Twitter. So I have a question. If Twitter forbids imitating Elon Musk, then am I going to get my account suspended for buying a business and then destroying it? Advertisers are abandoning Twitter for fear that Elon Musk has become politically divisive. Musk is assuring the advertisers that Twitter takes no political sides. And to prove it, yesterday, Musk took to Twitter to endorse Ron DeSantis for governor of Florida. Not sure potential DeSantis voters are going to see that tweet because in order to scroll through Twitter, one requires opposable thumbs. DeSantis leads Charlie Crist in the Real Clear average polls by more than 11%. In Georgia, Republicans might flip the Senate seat red with Herschel Walker, who is leading Democrat incumbent Raphael Warnock in the latest polls by 2 percentage points. Herschel is running a negative campaign, but a smart one, sticking to policy and talking bread and butter issues like the Bible.
In the Bible I read, it said it's a man and a woman, and the woman is a rib of a man. He should have looked that up, but he don't even want to tell you a man can't get pregnant. I'm here to tell you that. A man can't get pregnant. Get it out of your head. Don't let this guy take you down in that elevator.
A man can't get pregnant. Biggest issue facing voters, whether or not a man can get pregnant. Apparently, Senator Raphael Warnock insists a man can get pregnant, and that's why there's crime, inflation, and hurricanes in Georgia getting worse. Well, anything else? Poster child for CTE? Anything else?
He's a Marxist because he believes in abolishing the police. He believes in abolishing the court system. He believes in all these things that doesn't believe in the fabric of the United States of America. So he must be a Marxist.
Raphael Warnock is a Marxist. If that is Herschel Walker's winning message, if he wins, talking about men not getting pregnant and accusing Senator Raphael Warnock of being a Marxist. If he wins, maybe it is time to flush this democracy down the toilet. All this is a little crazy making. How could people vote for Herschel Walker over Senator Raphael Warnock, Reverend Raphael Warnock, senior pastor over at Ebenezer Baptist Church in Atlanta? That's the former pulpit of the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Our country can't be this stupid. We cannot really be in danger of losing our republic to idiots. Certainly, we're not going to commit collective suicide by electing these clowns, which is why, to put things into perspective, I look to presidential historian Michael Beschloss. We've been here before, and we'll be here again, Michael Beschloss. It's time to calm down, right? We're overreacting.
Franklin Roosevelt didn't say, the biggest thing I'm worried about is foreign policy. Foreign policy was important to him, but what he did say was, never before since Jamestown and Plymouth Rock has America been in such danger.
That's perspective. Michael Beschloss is telling us we need to put things into perspective. Franklin Delano Roosevelt, on the verge of World War II, was telling us that our country is in danger, and that's not happening now. Right, Michael Beschloss? That's what you're saying.
Joe Biden is saying the same thing tonight.
Joe Biden is saying the same thing tonight. He's saying the same thing that Franklin Roosevelt said before World War II started. And as a presidential historian, Michael Beschloss, I think you're criticizing Joe Biden, right? That people tend to believe that the times they're living through are the most important, that our times are always the worst. Our parents had World War II, but Michael Beschloss, you're saying we all need to keep calm and put this all into perspective. This is good. Please continue, presidential historian and Italian marble floor enthusiast Michael Beschloss. Calm us down.
And a historian 50 years from now, if historians are allowed to write in this country, and if there are still free publishing houses and a free press, which I'm not certain of, but if that is true, a historian will say what was at stake tonight and this week was the fact whether we will be a democracy in the future, whether our children will be arrested and conceivably killed. We're on the edge of a brutal authoritarian system, and it could be a week away.
The midterms. He said that a week ago. And Joe Biden is saying the same thing all week on the campaign trail. Joe Biden is saying that MAGA Republicans are a threat to democracy. They're a threat to our freedoms, that this is the most important election of our time. Obviously, presidential historian Michael Beschloss, with his overpriced Stickley furniture behind him, wants us all to calm down, right? That's just wants us to calm down. I think that's what he's saying. I wasn't really listening to what Michael Beschloss said over the din of his $50,000 Federalist chair and $200,000 exposed birchwood bookcases. Are historians supposed to be that rich? What do you have to worry about, Michael Beschloss? Well, this was not what I was looking for. You know what? Here's what I was looking for. Democratic House Majority Whip James Clyburn. He is the person to turn to. He represents South Carolina, and he's all about calming us down. Don't panic. If you remember in 2020, Bernie Sanders was heading for the Democratic nomination. So James Clyburn built the South Carolina firewall and stopped Bernie Sanders. Remember this? Clyburn got the people, the voters, the Democrats of South Carolina to vote for Joe Biden, who was pretty much in last place at the time. And Biden won South Carolina to prove he could finally win a primary. It was James Clyburn, and Biden will be the first one to tell you this. It was James Clyburn who got Biden the nomination. Because Clyburn wants everybody to be calm. And he knew that Joe Biden is the respite from all those thunderbolts of lightning and chaos Donald Trump manufactures each day. So let's all calm down. Here is Democratic House Majority Whip James Clyburn this week telling everyone, I would assume, telling everyone to calm down. Biden's president, not Bernie, so everything is going to be okay after the midterms, no matter who wins, because James Clyburn gave us Biden and not Bernie.
This is what happens in a country that follows what happened in Germany in the early 30s. This country is on track to repeat what happened in Germany when it was the greatest democracy going, elected a chancellor who then co-opted the media, and that's what's going on in this country. That is what will lead to the destruction of this democracy.
See, we got Biden. Clyburn, he gave us Biden instead of Bernie. Who needed Bernie tapping into populist rage and worrying about the masses? No, Clyburn insisted that it be Joe Biden because we needed somebody to calm everyone down. And everything is calm now, right, James Clyburn? Everything is calm. Everything is placid. You were so wise forcing Joe Biden down our throat, James Clyburn, because if history has taught us anything, it is that violent revolution is not prevented by taking care of the masses, the way Bernie wanted to do. No. You don't stop a violent revolution by making sure everyone is fed or making sure that everyone has free health care, free tuition at public universities, or a livable wage. No. Time after time, James Clyburn, history has taught us that you prevent violent revolution, you prevent faux populism, like what Trump is offering. You prevent faux populism from taking hold in a democracy by simply telling the people to calm down. And that is what you gave us. You gave us Joe Biden, Representative Clyburn. You gave us Joe Biden to tell us to calm down, not Bernie, who's going to take care of everyone. People don't care what Bernie has to offer. Voters, Americans, they don't care about getting evicted or feeding their families. They don't care that the people telling them to calm down are getting richer while they themselves, the American people, the voters, are racking up debt and having to choose between food or insulin. No, James Clyburn. The people don't want Bernie Sanders. They don't want him pushing for legislation that would actually extend our life expectancy. No, what the people care about is someone like Joe Biden who will remind us to calm down. And don't forget civility. Bernie was a little rough around the edges, but Joe was all about civility, and that's how you prevent a civil war, with civility. We need a president who reminds us of who we are, not a president who gives us Medicare for all, who helps us feed our family, who educates our children. We just need to be reminded of who we are as a people. When fascism is looming over the horizon, we need a president who constantly looks at fascism and says, that's not who we are. That's all you need to do to prevent fascism, James Clyburn. You were so smart in fixing South Carolina to make sure that it was Joe Biden who won and not Bernie. Thanks, Democratic House Majority Whip James Clyburn, because it all worked out just the way you promised it would back in 2020 when you, Obama, the Clintons, and the rest of the Democratic establishment ignored the will of Democratic voters by putting your thumb on the scale to guarantee that it was Joe Biden and not Bernie Sanders who would get the Democratic nomination. And it worked out perfectly, James Clyburn. America has calmed down. There's no more divisiveness. No more class resentment getting channeled into racism, sexism, or the tormenting of the LGBTQ community. Yes, Joe Biden did exactly what Bernie couldn't do. He calmed the waters. Yep. Just by telling us to calm down, because that's the only way to prevent a revolution. You have to tell everyone to calm down. You don't feed them. You don't make sure they have free health care. You just tell people to calm down, and they go, "Oh, okay, I'll calm down." You're brilliant, Congressman James Clyburn. Thank you for Joe Biden. Thank you for ruining Bernie Sanders' chances for becoming president. Look, I'm a Democrat, but I'm not a Biden Democrat. I'm rooting for the Democrats today, but I'm not a Biden Democrat. And it was pure cowardice and political malfeasance putting the two least popular Democrats on the ballot in 2020. Joe Biden and Harris were the least popular candidates. I think between them, before South Carolina, they had like 5 delegates. Warren, Buttigieg, and Bernie were way more popular and had way more delegates until the Democratic leadership panicked and forced Joe Biden down our throats to calm the waters. And look how calm they are now. We should have nominated Bernie and elected Bernie or Warren, but the Democratic leadership didn't want to fight. They wanted to play defense against Trump and Mitch McConnell. They didn't want Bernie. Bernie's a fighter. Well, you see, the thing about politics is you need a fighter. Politics is a fight. If you don't fight it out in politics, you end up fighting it out in the streets. We need fighters in politics, good fighters. Biden isn't a fighter. Now, the other side is looking for a fight. The Republicans are looking for a fight. That's all they have to offer is a fight. Joe Biden and the Democratic leadership, they don't want to fight. They're fat and lazy. They're well-fed. They just want more of the same. The Republicans, they do not want more of the same. They want to destroy everything. They are fighters, and we need people fighting for us to protect us from fascism. Bernie is a fighter. Elizabeth Warren is a fighter. Katie Porter is a fighter. Biden, Harris are not. You win this fight by making sure American people, you have to make sure that the American people don't fall prey to the false charms of fascism. And there is only one way to do that. There is only one way to fight fascism. You do it the way Roosevelt did. You make sure the masses are fed, clothed, housed, educated. You make sure they have jobs, access to health care, and time for leisure. That's how Roosevelt fought fascism. That is the only way to fight fascism. Roosevelt didn't tell the American people to calm down. Nature abhors a vacuum. Biden, Clinton, Obama, and the Democratic leadership created a vacuum. And in a vacuum, nobody can hear you scream because they don't care what you have to say. They don't want to hear you screaming, so they created a vacuum. And Trump, the Republicans, are filling that vacuum because nature abhors a vacuum. There's a vacuum because the Democratic leadership is offering very little. It should not be this hard to keep the House or the Senate when you're running against these low-grade Neanderthals in the Republican Party. The Democrats, who knows if they're going to win today? They're offering very little. They're offering just enough for me to hope they win the midterms. But it may not be. I don't know. We'll talk to Howie Klein. It may not be enough to win the midterms. May not be enough to keep the House, the Senate, or our democracy. In a democracy, you give the people what they want. Let me repeat. In a democracy, you give the people what they want. Not the oil companies, not Wall Street, not the richest 1%. You give the people what they want. Now, look, I'm not a child. I've done enough trips around the sun. By the way, that's a way of saying it's been a year. For Democrats, Democrats say, I've done a couple of trips around the sun. If you're a Republican, the sun has done a couple of trips around you. But for me, a Democrat who believes in the Enlightenment, I've done some trips around the sun. I'm not young. And what I've learned on all these trips around the sun is that change happens whether I like it or not. Things change. Everything changes. You cannot stop change. America is going to change. The question is, who is going to change it? The Republicans want to change it. Trump changed our country. There are a lot of Arabs, Muslims, LGBTQ, Jews, women who are terrified now. Trump changed our country because things change. They're always changing. And the question is, who's going to do the changing? Now, the Democrats that, James Clyburn wants, Clinton wants, and that Clinton wanted and Obama wanted, is they wanted Biden, they wanted Harris. They want to go back to this fictitious period in time before Trump, when everything was perfect. But everything wasn't perfect. That's why Donald Trump won the Electoral College. You cannot go back. You cannot go back. You have no choice. You have to go forward. You have to change the future, because if you don't change the future, someone else will. And that someone will be Trump or DeSantis or Carrie Lake or Marjorie Taylor Greene. They will change America. So we need to change it first. Change is the natural order of things. For example, take the climate. Take the climate back from the oil companies. The climate is changing because the world is changing. We have to change the climate back to the way it once was. Only a child would think the world isn't going to change. Change is a permanent state of nature. The GOP wants to change the planet, America, and us drastically. And they're going to change it drastically unless the Democrats offer to change it drastically as well. Our drastic change is superior to the Republicans' drastic change. It's going to change. Who's going to change it? Clyburn gave us Biden. He didn't want to change anything. So he left an opening for the Republicans to walk right through that door and start changing everything. When it comes to politics, Americans aren't looking for a can of Coke. You can't keep offering the same soft drink, the same taste, the same formula, and expect voters to come back for more. Familiarity in politics doesn't work. It's stale. We want something new and exciting. Fascism, believe it or not, is new and exciting. It's going to get a lot of people killed, but it's better than the same old tired taste. In 1933, the world was demanding something new and exciting. Hitler was offering fascism. Roosevelt offered Social Security, a minimum wage, jobs with dignity, building roads, bridges, and dams. He changed the world drastically because Hitler was trying to change the world drastically too. Things have to change. The laws of nature demand that things change. The decision to nominate Biden and then elect him was tantamount to holding back the ocean's tides. Can't be done. Can't be done. You can't fight Republicans by offering Americans stability because there is no such thing as stability. Stability is just another word for more of the same. And when you offer more of the same, someone comes around and changes everything. We will sink into fascism, not because of the fascists, not because of Donald Trump. We will sink into fascism because the people sounding the alarm right now, Joe Biden, historian Michael Beschloss in his $10,000 Savile Row suit, and James Clyburn, they're too wealthy, too set in their ways, too well-heeled, too comfortable to offer a real change that is different and better than fascism. I don't need Michael Beschloss or James Clyburn or Joe Biden or Barack Obama to tell me my house is burning down. I don't need them to grab a hose and help me put out the fire. I need them to buy me a new home, one that's better than the one burning to the ground. Unless Democrats are prepared to buy me a new home, stop telling me the house is on fire. Unless Democrats are prepared to buy me a new home, we are going to sink into fascism. My home burnt to the ground years ago. You're not telling me anything new that my house is on fire. Nothing lasts. Nothing is supposed to last. I was tired of that home. I'm glad it's burning to the ground. Buy me a new one. Offer me change. Offer a change that beats fascism. Buy me a home, build me a school, feed me a people, and make insulin free. And then I won't turn to fascism. Today is election day. Vote for the Democrats. And then tomorrow, after the dust settles, if it ever does settle, win or lose, we start thinking about 2024. And before we can beat Trump or DeSantis, we will have to purge the Democrats of people like Joe Biden, Michael Beschloss, and James Clyburn. They want stability and more of the same. So let's move them into a nursing home. I want a party and a country that is going to change for the better. This country is going to change with or without me. It better be with me, or we're doomed. Thank you for listening. Please vote. There's no network. There's no angel investor or sugar daddy juicing my profile. All I've got is you. I can't grow. We can't grow without each other. So please subscribe to this channel and hit the like button. I'm David Feldman, reminding you to stay strong and protect the weak.